Bill Wilson, President of Wilson Combat. Welcome to the Wilson Combat YouTube channel. Today we'd like to show you about the expansion that we're doing here at Wilson Combat. As I'm sure all of our viewers know, the demand right now is completely off the chart. Nobody in the firearms industry has ever seen anything like this before, and Wilson Combat is the busiest we've ever been. In an effort to try to meet the historic demand, we've basically doubled our production capacity. We've been expanding for right at 12 months now, and we're not done yet.
I'm Brent Boyer. I'm the Senior Process Engineer here at Wilson Combat. Today we're going to go over a little bit of what we've been doing here at Wilson Combat to expand our manufacturing to keep up with current demand. We're going to go over what we've implemented in our 16,000 square foot expansion and what we hope to do here in the future. So here at Wilson Combat, we've been known for our handguns, specifically the 1911s and then our X9. Another thing we've done and tried to jump fully into is the AR market. We do trigger units, lowers, trigger guards, different components that go with the AR. We were able to speed up the process and get far many components to market faster with these new Fanuc Robo Drill machines. They have 24,000 RPM spindles, they have very fast rapids, they're very quick to get back to the cut. And what this allows us to do, for instance, is we took our lower production and we're able to increase it by 400%. So with the increased production that we've been able to achieve, we haven't forgot about the quality that Wilson Combat stands for. Everything we make still gets hand checked and then ran on CMM machines that use digital calibration equipment to make sure that everything is ran through our process, inspected, and meets our quality throughout the whole thing. So to elaborate more on the CMM equipment and how we inspect parts here at Wilson Combat, we like to make sure that we check far more parts than the average person in the industry, but the CMM gives us the advantage because we can measure nearly every feature all at once and have it report back to us, whether it's in tolerance, out of tolerance, what we have to do to correct it, and we're able to keep production moving at closer to the 100% mark that we would like to achieve every day.
Hey folks, I'm here with Brent at a new operation here at Wilson Combat. This was kind of a necessity move on your behalf to keep up with the pace. Tell us what's going on here and what you've got.
All right, so one of the big shortages in the industry happened to be the BCG. The bolts, the gas key, stuff like that seem to be coming at a pretty good rate, but the bolt carrier itself seemed to be a huge shortage. So early on when we sensed that happening, we went ahead and made the big leap to go ahead and get the equipment we needed to make the bolt carrier. So we stepped up early. We got some premium Nakamura machines that are able to feed a 12-foot bar in unattended and pop one of these bolt carriers out the other side. About every 10.5 minutes we get a part out of one machine. We got two machines, so essentially every 5.5 minutes we get a part out.
Wow.
And so we've been able to increase our production, get these things out to heat treat, get them out to coating, assemble them into a bolt carrier, get them in the gun, get them out to the customer.
Wow, okay. What's the final product look like? I think you had one you were showing me earlier.
So after everything, it's got the black nitride coating on it, logo, of course, get the gas key, bolt, everything installed, get your finished BCG, it's ready for a rifle.
Excellent, man. When you produce these things, obviously it requires a certain degree of quality control. What do you guys have in place to make sure these things meet the specs you want to provide to the customer?
So first I want to point out that because we're doing it in one setup on a nice machine like that can cut every feature at once, naturally it's going to make a better part because you don't got a human handling it in the middle of all these operations.
Right.
One operation, one part, and then we take it over, we measure it on a CMM machine, which has a probe tip on it, measures everything within, tenths to a millionth of an inch, depending on how accurate we need to get. We hand check 100%, and then we try to get 5% over the CMM to make sure that we're making good parts that don't fall out of tolerance too quick with the pace these machines are running.
Okay, cool. Well, that's pretty impressive. I think it's like a winner.
Yep. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Brent. Check it out, folks. Trying to stay up to the pace.
So behind me we have our Sodic wire EDM machines. In the last year we've increased our machines from 2 to 6, and this is mostly for making TTU components for the ARs, hammer components, hammer struts for the 1911s and the X9 series handguns. Makes a very accurate part, and it's pretty much a standalone, run all by itself system 24/7. And we have a dedicated staff that even if a machine ends cycle on a weekend, they come in here, they get it back up and going so that we can get 24/7 out of these machines.
And this is one of my absolute favorite areas of manufacturing, because you just kind of load them up and walk away and they make a bunch of parts for you. I jokingly say these are our printing presses right here.
So the advantage of cutting with the wire instead of cutting with like a milling tool or a lathe is that the wire actually doesn't physically touch the part, so the hardness of the material and stuff like that doesn't matter. And you're able to make precision cuts in various materials that are able to be cut with the wire EDM. And that allows you to stack plates, for instance, or run different levels of hardness throughout the part. So anything that is very difficult to do in a mill and a lathe, we can do very easily on a wire EDM machine. So behind me is the new Okuma horizontal machines, some of our newest machines here on the ground. They do the roughing operations on some of our handgun frames, specifically the X9. They do operation on the horizontal for the handguards because of the length and the odd shape. So the tombstone and the pallet structure of a horizontal works really well to do long or big difficult parts. It also works well on small parts where you can stack very many components in the machine at the same time and get multiple parts off at every single pallet rotation. The advantage of that is that the machine is cutting the whole time somebody's out working on the pallet system, loading parts, taking parts off, and we're getting as much parts and money off the machine as we can.
What we got going on here, Brent?
All right, so behind us we have a new to us 4-spindle Molart gun drill. It's doing 4 rifle barrel blanks at a time. It's an auto feed in, auto feed out. It's about 12 minutes each to do 4 barrels. So we're trying to get anywhere from 800 to 1,000 more barrels out a week for these guys that need them.
Now, is that what it starts with? Is that the feedstock?
Yeah, so the feedstock is a saw cut and prepped, just raw stock bar 416R. The real good stuff for the rifle barrels. We get it saw cut and then prepped to be able to go into the gun drill here so that everything lines up right. We get a nice straight bore through the process, which is a problem for a lot of people in the industry, but we've dialed that in. And then we're going to move it through the reamer, the rifler, and then onto the lathes to get all the way down to a regular AR-15 rifle barrel. And then we have a milling op, whether you get the fluting, and then we also have to mill the gas port hole in it, judging the size of gas, whether it's
depending on the caliber of the barrel.
And then after that, it'll go off to the finish rifle shop and either be blasted, painted, however the customer wants it, however they're going to get it.
Cool. As far as I'm sure now with the upgrade in production, a lot of people are always curious about what are you doing quality control wise, because everybody understands that often when you increase production, quality control suffers a little bit. Have you guys got things in place to kind of make sure you're putting out what you want to put out?
Yeah. So also, we haven't just bought gun drills, we've bought more measuring equipment. We've quadrupled our amount of measuring equipment over the last year. We don't leave it to chance. We check more than anybody in the industry. We got bore gauges, bore scopes, all the measuring equipment, the latest and greatest. We have it here because we're going to put our name on it. We want it to be right.
That's good news.
So with the addition of the dedicated systems, the 4-spindle gun drill, the 6-spindle reamer, we're able to increase production 250, 300% to help meet demand during this increase in demand that we've seen over the last year.
Well, listen, that's impressive. Pretty neat piece of kit, eh?
Absolutely.
Hey, thank you, Brent. Take care, bro.
While we're working hard to meet the extreme demand for the AR-15 pattern weapons, we haven't forgotten that pistols are what brought us to the dance. When Mr. Wilson approached the engineering team and myself with the basic concept of what ended up becoming the X9 series of pistols, the criteria was to design the optimal single-action cock and lock 9mm. The X9 series has become Wilson Combat's best-selling pistol. No new Wilson Combat product has ever had more testing prior to coming to market than the X9 series. Mr. Wilson shot thousands upon thousands of rounds in early testing, and had others such as Ken Hackathorn and Mike Seeklander also given the engineering team valuable feedback as the pistols were perfected. Unlike many new pistol designs that undergo substantial changes and upgrades after the product is on the market, we pretty much got the X9 right from the start. We've only had a couple minor internal tweaks since the first gun shipped to the customers. So with the addition of these premium 5-axis machines and their 20,000 RPM spindles, we were able to cut a previous process by nearly half, which aided us in getting our production numbers up to that 200 to 300% increase that we've seen. Their first operations are in a horizontal, then we have to broach the mag wells. Then they come over here to 5-axis, which allows us to make the part far more precise and of a higher quality. And then we transfer that and do all the finish cuts, the texturing, the grips, all that are done on 5-axis machines. That way we can hit it all at one time, make it a really pretty part all the way through the process. So what we've done over the last year and a half to help meet production needs is we've opened up unlimited overtime for the guys. We normally run 2 shifts, a day and a night shift, 4 days a week through manufacturing, which with overlap gives us 24 hours for 4 days a week. But through the unlimited overtime and working through Fridays and into the weekends on some cases, we've been able to increase production by about 20% as well on top of that. So through the expansion and gaining more equipment, we had to tackle hurdles such as cutting holes in the floor, increasing the depth of the concrete to over 24 inches to handle the weight of this equipment. The machine weights can range anywhere from 10,000 pounds all the way up to over 30,000 pounds like the machines behind me. The machines are so heavy and can move so fast they can actually rip themselves free, so we have to anchor them to the concrete. So the logistics of the total expansion has been just a learning curve and a growth chart. Everything you can think of we've had to cover or learn on the way. We're excited to tell you that that's only the beginning. We've planned on adding an entire building structure for laser equipment. The laser quality and the marking quality is so much higher than engraver. You'll notice it on our barrels first, and then it'll get implemented into other processes. We're bringing in more lathes. We're bringing in the possibility of robots. Lots more to come here at Wilson Combat. We're going to meet demand one way or another.
Thanks for watching the video tour of our expansion, and be sure to stay tuned for more. If you're not a subscriber, be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you be safe and good shooting.